Okay, so here we are. Okay, in this video we're going to be dyeing some fabric items black with our RIT black dye, as you can see how. So basically what you need to perform this task is some RIT dye. You can use any kind of dye, the powdered stuff. We have the liquid one today. A saucepan, something kind of like this, like stainless steel, so it doesn't stain, and obviously something to stir it with of the same kind of material, because you don't want dye on your pot. So anything porcelain is out of the question. So something like this. Be very careful. We have also some tongs here that we're going to use. And today, in this video, we're going to be dyeing cotton things. So cotton things are like natural things, cotton fields and whatnot. So when you dye natural things, get a pot, fill it about halfway, 2/3 with hot water. I put the boiler on, so it's pretty hot now. And when you're dyeing cotton, natural things, we add a cup of salt to the hot water. So get a cup, fill it with salt. So natural things, salt. Non-natural things, more man-made things, we use vinegar instead. White vinegar. So you either use one or the other. So if you're using unnatural things, nylon, things like that, use the vinegar instead, don't use the salt. Okay. In this process, we've got our clothing in here. It's a nice medium heat, almost boiling but not quite. That's a number 5 on here. We're going to be adding the RIT dye to the pot of pants and things. We have various cotton things here. We have a cotton towel, a little cotton top here, cotton stockings, cotton, etc. And as I mentioned before, these are the non-natural fibers. You can see there's a lot of elastic in there, and a little chicken there. We'll be doing those with vinegar afterwards, but for this we're just going to do the cotton. So this is the water salt mixture. We're going to add the dye. We've weighed out the amount of clothes here, so we have 3 or 4 items in here. This is an 8-ounce bottle. This should be enough for half a bottle of the liquid. If you have the powder one, dump it all in. For this bottle here, it's 8 ounces, it's quite a lot. We're just going to put half in there. So the water's on a medium heat, the salt has been added. In goes the dye. So I want to use half a bottle. Woo, keep it low. Okay. I got a little light here so I can see how much I've kind of used. A little more. Okay, there we go. That is enough. Be very careful, because if you get dye on your things, you may never see their natural colour again. So who's made borscht? Borscht, Polish soup, I think. Yeah, it kind of looks like that, like you're boiling red cabbage. Just poke it around, So the heat, it's like almost about to boil, but not quite. I'm mixing the dye around. Soak it up into the fibers. Take it in through their imaginary pores. And once you've done that, you've fished it all around like a pro fisherman or woman. Put it on a medium heat, so that will probably be a number 3, and leave it uncovered for about 30 minutes. And this is kind of like a simmer. And in 30 minutes, we'll show you the results. Okay, so they've been in the pan around 30 minutes. You can see the dye's pretty in there. You can also see some of the stitching that hasn't dyed. That's okay, because that's the effect we wanted to go for. So we're on number 3, let's just turn it off. The next step, if you have a sink like ours, then you might not want to use this because you will never see whiteness ever again. If you have one of those stainless steel sinks like this, then move it over to the sink and start rinsing the dye out. We have one of these buckets here. We're going to take it outside on a little adventure. What we're going to do, which is harder for us, is put all the clothing items into here, drain the water out, get rid of it over the back wall, wherever you want to put it, and then put the clothes back in here. And then we're going to rinse them out with hot water initially, and then keep rinsing them out with progressively, well, make the water go progressively cool until it's cold. So do a hot rinse and then a warm rinse until the rinse is cold. And use ice. And using ice at the end of all of that will help set the dye in your clothing items. So we're going to go do that. It's dark outside, but you get the idea of what to do, and we'll show you the final result very soon. I'm just trying to focus it. It's not really working very well. How did you focus your video?
On the screen.
I don't know, it keeps putting autofocus on. Come on.
Just have it in the middle of the screen. It doesn't work very well, but you can keep on trying.
Okay, I think I got it now. It's pretty late out tonight, so it's pretty hard to see, but here are our things here, and we're just moving them over into this one so we can drain out the dye. We're just going to play around and start rinsing the dye out with hot water until we progressively go cool, until we use the ice to set the dye, and we should be good to go. Cleaned the clothes off with hot water, then progressively cold. You can see it's pretty clear. So now we're just going to add some ice, which helps set the dye. If you've never seen an ice maker before, this is how it works. Pretty cool! Look at those little cubes. Now, if you live in a cold country, you probably don't have an ice maker because you just don't. You probably have a sauna instead, but that's not going to help you here. But naturally, living in a cold country, your cold water will be way colder than ours because we live in Vegas where it's really hot all the time. So you probably don't really need ice, to be honest, because your cold water is going to be cold enough. But like I said, living in a hot area, our cold water isn't really that cold. So we're going to use ice there, and that will help set the dye. I'm going to put way more in there, but we don't want to go on forever with the ice-ness in the video. Okay, we've just rinsed and dried one of the items here. Gonna turn around. Okay, I got dust on them. Oh. But yeah, there they are. All freshly dyed and given a new life. Okay, check it out. Good luck and post your results.